This is a Headgum original.
Jake and Amir, two Jews that you can't forget. In 2010, they were big on the internet. And all things considered, their success is more than fair. Now here's one
Early.
more effort for only positive motivations, they swear.
Now.
Another podcast. Each app different from the last. It's the Swiss Army knife of shows. Meet your two emphatic hosts.
We are dangerously close to having a live show. We're talking to agents. We're talking to managers and venues. And it might actually happen. I think about it every time we raise our arms up because
everyone else has to do that too.
I really, really hope so. I really hope so.
That's our rallying cry.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be cool to actually get lowered from the ceilings by our wrists. Segments. Yeah.
Our fucking shoulders popping out of the socket.
You can see them both dislocating.
Oh no. You know, I dislocated my shoulder when I was a kid.
No.
Yeah. I did.
Was it a sports related or did you just fall off a table?
It was a sledding accident. And I don't think sledding counts as a sport, but it was an activity, not falling off a table. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guess,
that must be the hardest
sledding's
part
kind of a
about
sport.
having a lot of kids that, like, at any point one of them will be hurt and then you have to deal with that.
Oh yeah, it has to be constant. I mean, I broke
and sickness.
Yeah, I broke stuff all the time. I think I broke my arm or my hand or my wrist like 5 or 6 times. Needed stitches. And then
just the medical cost and
sick.
going and dealing with it, and urgent care, medication.
Yeah,
it seems like it's too much. It requires too much time. I don't know how your parents did it.
Yeah, and then especially you have like somebody like Hannah who's say 13 going through puberty and school and all of that, like kind of emotional distress.
Yeah.
You're dealing with that, but then at the same time, Micah's like 3. So
Yeah,
you're
he's
like,
I have a nightmare. And you're
yeah.
like, okay.
So
I
one's
have
afraid to sleep by himself,
Yeah.
and one is getting bullied at middle school. What do you do?
I have to have the birds and the bees talk, and then also change a diaper. Like this,
Unfair.
I can't do it all at the same time.
Yeah,
You should just have as many kids as possible at the same time, twins, triplets, which
right.
your parents
Which they
also
did. Yeah,
Yeah,
but that didn't
in
work out
addition to it.
ideally because they had the other 2, and then then the other, then the last one.
I wonder if they're still tired. You should ask your dad or mom, like, was it decades of exhaustion and you'll just never get that back?
Yeah, no, I think they're really enjoying this this new empty nest thing that they've had for a few years. Even though randomly one of us will kind of constantly move back into their house. Like Jill and I did it during our renovation when we were was that 2021 or something when we were renovating our house.
Yeah.
And then like Sarah moved back there at some point. Micah was back there.
That's probably the best of both worlds. You get mostly the emptiness, which is like nice independence, and then still occasionally
the kid will
see the
visit.
children.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now I think they're happy now. But I do like every time I like we were home over the 4th of July, and their air conditioner stopped working, and then on like the Saturday after July 4th, there was a bunch of fireworks going off in New Haven. And both of the dogs were kind of like barking and freaking out. And then Gemma was woke up and then couldn't go back to sleep because she was too hot because her room was like 80 degrees. And it's like 10.
Oh, is that when you were yelling at your dad or something?
Yeah, I was screaming at my dad. I was like, why would I come home if you don't have this AC fixed, you piece of shit, et cetera.
You punched it and it fell off.
Yeah, I should mention I was trying to keep the house at 59, so I kind of overused the system.
Yeah, industrial strength coldness.
And because I wanted it that cold because I needed to have the windows open because I like the fresh air. So yeah, fresh hot air
59
mixed with the 59
plus 80 is a beautiful. It's
and
like
the fireworks
68.
that I talked about. I was setting off bottle rockets in the backyard.
Yeah. And the dogs were sort of freaking out.
Right. But I was freaking out because I was barking at them to try to show that I'm the big dog. I'm the alpha. So I was barking loudest.
And you have a fear of fireworks as well.
Yes.
So you would light it and sprint into the house.
I'm a pyromaniac, but I hate loud noises. So I would light the bottle rocket. I would hear the fizz, see the spark. I enjoyed that. And then if it went up,
the fire,
I'm like, don't pop. Then inevitably, undountably, it would pop.
Oh no.
And I would be frightened.
No.
And I would be
you'd
scared.
be crying.
Yes.
Inconsolable.
And my tears,
Gemma also crying.
Also crying. But my tears, I'm actually forming the memories. Like I'll remember these tears. So my tears
Gemma won't even
are more
understand.
Important. Yes.
She wakes up and she's like, what happened last night?
Totally.
I don't get it.
You could hand Gemma a popsicle and she'll be fine. And I guess to be fair, that works on me as well. And I was housing popsicles,
you like a lolly. You'll often just like a frozen little lolly.
Yes.
Like they'll just be able to freeze a Tootsie Roll Pop and give it to you and you can find solace.
That's I like a lolly, I like a stuffy. I do like a lovey. I can't really fall asleep unless I'm cuddling something. I like a binky
and a blankie.
And I like breast milk at the end of the day. So we're not that dissimilar, are we? So anyway, then we had to go to Walmart at like 10:45 at night to get a fan so Gemma could like get back to sleep. And I was just like, for something my dad like wanted. I was like, I can do this by myself. You don't have to come. He's like, no, I'll come. I think he like felt bad about the AC, but we were like walking into Walmart. I was like, man, how many times have you done this? Does this like bring back memories? And he was like, yeah, it was always something.
You driving off to an Indian casino? Dad, you said you'd buy a fan.
I'm going to drop you at Walmart. You can walk back, right? You've done this a million times, you said.
No, I was trying to bond with you.
Yeah, and I'm trying to win us some cash so I can fix the AC, Pop.
You get that.
I got a good feeling.
All right, this is segments, a podcast, ever-changing, Swiss Army knife, a knife of shows, as they say in the theme song sometimes. Exactly. Here's a segment idea I had. Mm-hmm. I found a menu.
Good for you.
From the 1700s.
Oh. Shit.
And the food sounded, let's just say, a little bit funny.
What's the restaurant called?
It wasn't a restaurant. It was like a recipe for a dinner party. I think
see.
This predates restaurants.
Yeah. Okay. There were no restaurants in the 1700s.
Correct.
The first restaurant was a diner in 1949.
Mel's Drive-In in Los Angeles was the first restaurant.
That's right.
So this is a list of dishes from a magazine or a book called The Experienced English Housekeeper, published in 1786.
Okay. Got it.
So it's like, hey, are you entertaining royalty? Here's 25 different things you should/can make.
Right.
And they sound absurd. So I'm going to give you some real ones as well as some fake ones that I added in because I couldn't resist myself.
Yeah.
Let's start with right at the top, number one. I'll tell you this one is real just so you can get acclimated to what kind of
get in the
foods
zone.
These are. Yes. I'll give you the first four, actually, because they're kind of silly.
All right, wow.
There's 25.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Number one is transparent soup.
Oh, so that's, I mean, just like a chicken noodle.
Broth?
Yeah, thin broth, okay.
Yeah, okay.
Got it.
Number two is fricassed, FRICAS apostrophe D, fricassed chickens.
Fricassed chickens. Is that preparing it in some kind of French manner? I assume.
Yeah,
fricassed.
or fried or something.
Oh yeah, of course.
Number three is just the word haricot. I don't know if that's an animal or a type of leaf.
Haricot.
You know, like haricot vert. You'll sometimes see that on a menu. So that's just the haricot part.
I see.
And number four is pigeons comport.
I've heard comport. I ate pigeon when I was in Paris.
Okay.
And I did get violently ill. I don't know if it was from the pigeon. I did have pigeon pie.
Yes.
And I got food poisoning, not necessarily from the pigeon pie, But let's just say it didn't feel very good coming up either way. Do you know what I'm saying?
It definitely didn't help your food poisoning.
Yeah.
It wasn't the antidote.
Right. No. The antidote was oatmeal. All right.
So here we come
Ready to play.
to the first 50-50 shot.
Okay.
Pork griskins.
Pork riskins. I
Griskins
feel like
with a G.
Griskins?
Pork griskins. Gris.
I feel like you wouldn't have corrected me if you hadn't come up with it. So I'm
now
gonna
you're
guess
just
it's
playing the game.
I'm guess that's you.
No, that's an actual item on the menu here. Pork griskins is number 8.
Nice. What is that?
I don't know. It's not a link. It's just a really blurry image of the book.
Right. Okay.
Here's a good one. Broccoli and C. And C is just ampersand and the letter C.
Okay. Well, I don't think you would have said, here's a good one unless you came up with it. That one's you also.
That one's on the real list of dishes.
Of course.
Broccoli and C.
Of course.
I don't know what the C stands for, but I guess it was so obvious they didn't have to finish the word. That'd be good.
I mean, I like broccoli and cheese.
Small ham.
I just think every single one of these is you. Small ham, that is you.
That's a real one as well.
Are they all real? Are they just all real? They're all going to be real.
Number 15 on this list. Salad with 2 L's.
That one's real.
Correct.
Nice. No, I just think they're all real is the thing.
Number 20 on this list. Ox palates.
Ox palates. That's kind of boring. That's real.
Correct.
Nice. What is that, like tongue? Ox tongue? Like a palate?
I get.
From the
I
cheek?
don't know.
Ox cheek? Something in the mouth.
Yeah. Palate or, I don't know, a palate, or maybe it's like a lot of it or something.
Yeah, that's just what it's served to you on.
Right. Chicken fashion.
Chicken fashion.
Like,
nothing is hotter right now than
chicken fashion. Yeah. Men everywhere are wearing beaks.
I'll have a sandwich. Can I have it in the chicken fashion?
So, can I get an old fashioned and a chicken fashion?
That's the new fashion. Chicken fashion feels. I guess I think they're all real. That's my new theory. Real.
That one's me. Gotcha.
Damn. Yeah. Okay. All right. This really is throwing my game.
I'm trying to not give you a pattern so you can't fucking feel it. By the way, speaking of chicken, I tried your egg cracking technique.
And?
It didn't work for me.
Really?
The first one, I didn't crack hard enough, and when I peeled it, like I got shell and goop all over my fingers.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, I guess I'll crack it even harder. And the second one, I cracked on the counter too hard, and it kind of spilled open on the counter.
Like how much of it spilled open?
Maybe 10%.
That's not bad. You get it down to like under 5%. I think that's.
But if I use a knife into the shell over the pan, so far has been my best version, and I don't have to clean anything up, and it gets a nice. I still need the thin ridge to crack it over.
What about talk to me about, instead of a knife, a spoon? Hold in the egg, hit it with a spoon. That's If you can
but
get
you
that
want me to
down,
hit it with the blunt side of a spoon.
I do.
I'm saying you slice into.
I don't think you need to slice.
I need the slice.
I don't think you need the
crack. I need a crack.
What you need is a
blunt impact.
You need a bread knife. You need to saw the egg in half.
Yes, exactly.
You don't like to lose any of the egg, huh?
That's a full circumference. Yeah, I can't lose any of the egg.
I see.
Eggs are $10 a dozen at this point. Every 10% counts.
Wow.
Beef olives.
Beef olives. Beef olives. I'm just going to go based on the fact that sounds kind of good, and I'll say that's real.
Correct.
Nice. And I would love a beef olive. Truly.
Mock turtle.
Mock turtle. That
of the chicken fashion.
I guess mock turtle sounds so dumb that I think you came up with it, but then it's also so insanely dumb that I don't know if you would have come up with the phrase mock turtle. Like turtle
like a
fashion
mock
would be more, yeah. I'll say that's real.
Correct.
Nice.
Stranded cheese.
Ooh. Stranded cheese. On the first listen, it sounds like it's like lonely cheese, neglected cheese,
but
stranded cheese that was left
cheese.
alone. Yeah, stranded cheese. It's strands of cheese, of course, and that's incredible. Yeah. That's the C in broccoli and C. So let's say that's
broccoli
real.
Broccoli and C. That one is fake. I made up stranded cheese.
Damn. That was smart.
The cheese stood alone. Yeah. Okay, a few more.
The cheese stands alone.
4 number cakes.
4 number cakes. So that's kind of like 4 layer, 4 number. That's real.
Fake. I made it up.
Dick. You dick.
All right, last one.
Yeah.
Sheep's rumps and kidneys in rice.
Ooh, the in rice really screams you. Sheep's rumps. I don't think rump is a word that would come to you, though. I'm going to say that's real as well.
That is correct. It's real.
Sheep rump. Nothing's tastier than that. Put a little stranded cheese on there. Ooh, baby. You've got yourself a chicken fashion.
I forgot the best real one. I was saving it to the end, and now it's too late. So I'll just tell you it's real. But this one is really funny.
Okay.
Number 5. Cod sounds like little turkeys.
What? I'm gonna search it. Cod sounds.
I sent you
like
I sent you the menu over text. Cod sounds like little turkeys.
They're okay, but what?
I looked it up.
Yeah,
and then it said there was this explanation / recipe. To dress cod sounds like little turkeys, boil your sounds as for eating, but not too much. Take them up and let them stand until they are quite cold. Then take a forcemeat of chopped oysters, crumbs of bread, a lump of butter, nutmeg, pepper, salt, and the yolks of 2 eggs. Fill your sounds with it. Skewer them up in the shape of a turkey, then lard them down each side as you would do a turkey's breast. Dust them well with this is all one sentence. Dust them well with flour and put them in a tin oven to roast before the fire and baste them well with butter. When they are enough, pour them on oyster sauce. 3 are sufficient for a side dish, garnish with barberries, it is a pretty side dish for a large table, for a dinner in Lent.
Oh my God. People used to have so much time. By the way, that sounds incredible. That sounds so good.
Cod you should sounds? Send this to Jill.
Like little turkeys?
Say, can we for dinner? Can you just dress the cod sounds like little turkeys?
I know you were gonna roast. You were gonna roast salmon tonight.
I know we were going to order a pizza, but is there a world where you can just force meat the chopped oysters in a lump of butter and skewer in the shape of a turkey, then lard them with each side?
Babe, semicolon, please.
It's a pretty side dish for a dinner in Lent. I know you wanted to do sushi, but can you just baste them well in a tin oven to roast before the fire? I'm begging you.
Like little turkeys, Jill. Come on. Doesn't that cod sound pretty good to you?
Doesn't it sound like a little turkey? Good stuff. Good stuffing. What does a cod sound anyway?
I think it's just cod, right? They're just adding words to stuff. I'll search cod sound.
Cod sound. Whoa, this cod sounds like a little turkey. Listen to it.
Yeah, there's not really. It's just a lot of like, did I mean cod and sound? Yeah, I think
it really is. It's a dinner in Lent, is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. There's sounds for cod. I don't think that's it. You can. All right.
We'll look it up later
for sure.
Good segment. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this episode of our show.
Indeed.
Oh my God, Squarespace is such an easy way to build a website. Jake's done it.
Yeah. What's that supposed to mean? Like I'm not smart? Doubt it. Oh, I'm actually pretty bright.
Yeah. Anyway, they make it super simple to design.
What's that supposed to mean? Like a transition?
Yeah.
Like to a new thought?
Yeah, like a transition.
Like changing the subject anyway? Or...
Design is a cinch. You could just drag and drop. They have like award-winning templates and customer support if anything doesn't
What's
make
that
sense
supposed to mean?
you.
Like their templates have won awards?
Yeah, like it looks awesome. It's a professional way to make a design.
Yeah, what's that mean?
You don't know what anything means. You're dumb, man. You're stupid.
You hinted at that earlier, actually.
And even you've built an online store. Even you've made a portfolio. Even you've made an event website.
That's right.
You could purchase a domain name through Squarespace. So if there's a .com that's been on your mind, like Jake, for example, what can people buy?
Flipjick.com. Flipjick.com. Who's dumb now, dude? Who's the stupid one now?
What is it?
Have you ever heard of a flapjack?
Yeah.
Well, have you ever heard of a flipjick? With two I's instead of A's? Flipjick?
I don't think so. What's that?
It's my new flapjack.
What about flapjake.com?
Let me see if that's available. I really doubt it.
That might be mine.
Right?
Yeah, it's like flapjack, but it's like your specific brand of pancakes.
Shit, flapjack. Flapjake is available.
I'll take it.
Actually good.
That's mine. So buy flapjake.com.
Yeah, and sell it to me.
Or maybe, somebody wants a .com for their full name. Squat it now before it's too late.
That's true.
And then build an awesome website on there. And if you head to squarespace.com/segments, you can save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using that code segments.
Segments.
That's right. So squarespace.com/segments. You can check out their free trial. And when you're ready to launch, just use that coupon code segments to save 10% off your first purchase.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. It is beautiful, and it's simple, and it's affordable, and it's all because of Squarespace. Thank you, Squarespace. Funny. All right, we're back.
Hey.
You mentioned we're dangerously close to doing another live show, a live podcast.
That's right. Dangerously close.
Which reminded me how we used to do live shows that weren't a podcast. We just did skits and sort of games in character from our Jake and Amir web series.
Yeah, it was like in between. I guess pre-podcast, we didn't have any live shows that we did on our own though. They were all with College Humor. It was like we would do sketches as Jake and Amir, or we would host the show as Jake and Amir, introduce different stand-ups. But then for London, we got some like opportunity where we could be in the Soho Theater, and it was like, okay, let's just go. Let's Jake and Amir go with Streeter. It's not a College Humor thing, and we'll host we'll open for half hour, and then Streeter will close with half an hour.
Which was great if you were a Jake and Amir fan, because it's like, oh, these guys from the videos are doing silly things for the videos, but we never really intended for strangers to view these, let alone newspaper reviewers to watch it.
It was always
like
an interesting
50-year-old
thing,
arts critic.
Like the College Humor Live thing, like that we would do at universities. It was always like, if we went to a college where there were a lot of Jake and Amir fans, our portion would do really well because we're basically, I feel like our series is essentially inside jokes. You have to know and appreciate all of the episodes up until that point because we're hosting the show in character. And sometimes like we would crush and it would go really well and we would do even better than some of the stand-ups. Like these are big name stand-ups too. But then sometimes we'd go somewhere where we didn't have a lot of fans and our opening act would be so bad, and because nobody knew who we were, and then the stand-ups would crush. But this idea for us to go to London and basically just do a show for our fans, it was solid. It was like, all right, we don't have to have a stand-up to like cover us. We're just going to be Jake and Amir and Streeter. It's college humor. Fans of the show will come to the show. And we basically wrote this show for hardcore fans. And then for some reason, somebody from The Guardian came to review the show.
And we're like, oh, I wonder if they'll like it. Like, I mean, people are all laughing.
It is technically comedy.
It's funny. Yeah. So this is what this guy, Brian Logan, wrote about our comedy show 11 years ago.
June 2013. Does that mean we actually had just started the podcast?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we started the podcast in May of 2013 or something.
Interesting. So we had just started the podcast. That was so we wouldn't have done a podcast live show.
I feel like this turned this guy into a fan. So Brian, if you're listening, let us know if like you were listening to the podcast before the show, or if this sort of inspired you to check out the podcast and you're still listening.
Wow, looks like he's still writing for The Guardian. He just reviewed Paulina Lenoir, Puella Eternal Review, Flamenco Clown Takes Us from Cradle to Grave. So a show about a flamenco clown.
How many stars did that one get?
That one got 3. That one got 3 to our 2. I just want to show you. You have to look at this image from this show.
Paulina Lenoir. I mean, this is a real artist.
Right.
She's putting it all out.
That was 3 stars.
It's costumes, it's staging, it's acting. Anyway, this is what Brian Logan said about us.
About us, yeah. 2 stars.
2-star review.
Out of 5.
Jake Hurwitz and Amir Blumenfeld are a double act who make sketches for the U.S. website collegehumor.com. On the strength of this live outing, one fears for the state of American education.
Yes, I see.
So he's saying the show was so dumb that I'm worried about their, like, not only Jake and Amir's level of education, but like if this was like, because if they went to normal high schools and colleges,
well, he's tying it back to college humor. He's like, oh, if this is America college humor, then I fear for the education. It's a really nice turn of phrase. So we have to applaud Logan for that. We don't have to agree with the 2 stars, but it's an eloquent sentence. It's much better than the cod sounds recipe, which I think also came from the UK.
Brian's great-great-grandmother wrote, "The evening starts on screen with Jake singing a song about a man sucking his dick. Soon, Amir is rapping about a woman being, quote, ankle deep in my semen."
So he's not pulling any punches. This article, in the first paragraph, he's kind of giving you all of the warning signs, the red flags. If you think that this description of exactly what happens on stage is uncouth, the show is not for you.
But it is true. We did start with the Stoney song, the Milkman song.
Yeah, that was how we came out. I think we from backstage we just played that video that starts with, "Listen up, everybody. This is the guy that sucked my dick. Sucked my dick."
Instantly right into it, a song about it.
It was weeding out the true fans from the Brian Logans of the world. What must Brian Logan have been thinking when he's sitting in his seat, has a nice little drink, he's ready to enjoy some theater.
He has a journal and a miniature pencil.
A Moleskine. Now, what's going on in America? Let's find out. These chaps seem bright. Listen up, everybody. This is the guy that sucked my dick. And then fucking raucous laughter all around him. It crushed. It did well.
He didn't know that was based on a video we did. Not that would help him in any way. But
what you don't understand, like, Brian, is
this is a song.
It's an auto-tune. I'm not actually singing that. That's our Icelandic friend,
I'm just
Stoney.
Yelling it. And then he's not also wrong about, we come out, and then one of our first bits is to do a rap battle. and I, quote, lose myself sort of rapping.
Yeah, Eminem style.
And it ends with me saying a woman is ankle deep in my semen, which you in character are like, what the hell is wrong with you? How can you say that? We weren't like both laughing at the idea. It was me in character losing himself in a rap battle.
Right.
So you could see how being ankle deep in semen is kind of a funny,
I don't know. That's like the landing point where you were like, you basically go so hard at me in this rap battle that by the end, I think you're actually saying that I'm ankle deep in your semen. So Brian Logan wasn't paying perfect attention at the top of the show, apparently.
Their redeeming features, writes Brian, are that they're cheerfully making one another laugh and unaffected in their enthusiasm to share that with an audience largely formed, it seems, of their diehard fans. So he's like, why is everyone laughing? They must be in on an inside joke. I don't really know or understand.
Okay, so he's kind of acknowledging that we're having a good time and the audience is having a good time. He's saying that the show is bad, even though the performers and the audience love it. Okay.
But there's little here for outsiders, which I agree with.
Right, me too.
Hurwitz is the straight man recounting Blumenfeld's supposedly outer behavior on their flight over. Blumenfeld reads a poem about his top 10 London experiences so far. I think he means a scroll.
Right.
And it just came off as a poem.
Yeah, because they do often rhyme. So it is, we speak in limericks.
Most of which involves trips to fast food restaurants. They cackle a lot as they find various ways to repackage tales of puerile behavior as comedy.
That's true. There's a lot of episodes that is just recounting things that you've done or watching you do things. So I actually don't take any issue with that. I also remember that opening joke, still one of my favorite jokes that we've told. Remember we just got in from New York and you say, and boy, are my arms tired, as I was masturbating the entire flight.
Yeah, which is clever, but again, also about semen, oral sex.
Right. And it often was.
Yeah. He talks about Streeter's stand-up. We could skip that part. He calls it competent. He doesn't hate it as much as our set because, Streeter was just doing actual stand-up.
Yeah, that's fair.
But then he says, there's no spike in quality for the show's final third, which is a quiz about American news, food, and TV, in which two audience members compete to avoid singing a Katy Perry song on stage. The whole game is predicated on the unremarkable insight that the U.S. pop culture can be cretinous, much like British, which, by the end of this show, we hardly need telling. Savage.
Yeah. I guess I do agree with him on that point. I felt like the show, I think our section of the show that we wrote was pretty good. But maybe it's a little trite for us to go over to the UK for the first time and be like, our countries are a little different. We have Big Macs. What was the game? It was, I think it was just like Shameful American Trivia. That was a game we used to play at College Humor Live. It was called Shameful Trivia. And it would be like, a picture of all of the guys in One Direction. And it's like, can you name all of these men? And the idea was
guilty pleasures.
Right, like, oh man, I'm embarrassed, but I know all of these dudes' names or something. I remember one of the questions was an image of the Bang Bus. And it was like, do you know what this bus is? And you could win Shameful Trivia by admitting that you knew all this stuff. And I think you won, you might have won something as lame as like a Busted Tees gift card. So for this, we kind of repurposed it to whoever lost had to sing a Katy Perry song, which,
was fine.
But I think that there is something to. I always felt like there was something a little bit off about like the end of our show, the climax being a random audience member sing a song. Because if they do it great, then it's amazing. And there was a few times where it was really high energy. And then there were a few times, because we did 10 shows, there were a few times where like somebody was just shy and they're like, well, I don't really know any of the words. And it sort of peters out.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah. So
like, we're not above criticizing ourselves.
Yeah. I think we could have, if, after we did 10 shows, by the end, I think we probably could have diagnosed Shameful Trivia wasn't the highlight. It was more in like the Jake and Amir stuff up top. We could have done
a good filler.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
So overall, we don't disagree with Brian. We just didn't necessarily need him to tell us that at the time.
Yeah. And actually, we eventually, when we went to JFL, like it might've been like 5 or 6 years ago, we reworked this segment. Do you remember the bit we did about the differences between Canada and America?
Yes,
which was much a better version of this. It was we subverted it a lot more. We were like, in Canada, you guys use the Celsius system. What is that? And in America, we have everybody has a gun. So it was like something
right. It's like quirky little things that, like, in Canada you spell color COLOUR.
Huh? What's
Weird.
that about?
In America, the number one killer for children is bullets.
Yeah.
That's a lot worse than the little things for Canada.
Yeah. You guys spell color weird, and we don't have health insurance.
Yeah, exactly.
Et cetera. So that was more clever. I think we got better, despite Logan probably would have loved if we just fucking quit, huh?
Honestly, I would fucking love to invite Logan to our segments live show, the one that we end up doing.
Yeah.
Like, look how much we've grown as auteurs / comedians.
I wonder if he would enjoy hanging out with us.
I feel like they would. Our on-stage persona was non grata.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even want to hang out with those people. But to hang out with us after the show, it's like, oh, these guys are, kind of well-intentioned, kind-mannered comedians, sort of paralyzed by their own online success, forcing their hand to do really crass, loud, weird sketch comedy.
Yeah, right.
On tour.
Yeah, like, hey, Logan, we don't understand this shit either. They just love when I talk about getting my dick sucked, and it's bizarre.
I love Monty Python. Like, don't think that I only watch
smart
Jackass.
Comedy. Nut tap, Logan.
I watched Mr. Show, and I also watched Jackass.
We do really tend
to
tapes. We skew blue. We do. That's fine. There's a place for us. I also remember that I was on crutches and my knee scooter during this trip. Do you remember that?
Yes, you fractured your heel like a month before we left.
Yeah, and I would but I didn't want to go out on stage on crutches, so I would be on the scooter or the crutches backstage with my foot elevated, and then it was time to do the show. I would take 3 steps to a stool and sit there and just kind of pretend that everything was fine. And then we did a meet and greet afterwards, and I was on crutches, and everyone was like, "Did you just hurt yourself, backstage or something?"
But you did. You flew with the scooter.
I flew with the scooter. And my cool crutches.
We had to wheelchair you. We had to wheelchair you through the airport or something.
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't allow the scooter.
Yeah. I had to the scooter had to go through security separately. So I had to, you pushed me on I had an aide that pushed me on the wheelchair, right?
That was the highlight of your fucking life.
That was...
You had clear before it was clear. You had TSA pre.
Yeah.
They wheeled you to the front of every line. You were able to go to Disneyland and just cut everybody.
I did. When we got to Heathrow, somebody wheeled me to the front of customs, and I just got out and sitting in my chair waiting for you guys.
That was awesome. All right. Let's get Brian Logan on the show. Brian, if you're listening, reach out. We're still huge fans.
And we're back. Guess what, everybody? I went into the archive and I was actually able to pull up Brian Logan's favorite show that he's ever seen. I have the original transcript of our London show from 2013.
This is the one that you sent to the Smithsonian and the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
That's right. Yeah.
Both emails bounced back.
This is on the National Registry of Historic Documents.
It's this the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Emancipation Proclamation.
That's correct. So we open with Stoney's song. The auto-tune, Suck My Dick, etc., etc. It absolutely crushes. And then I come out and I say, wow, thank you guys so much for coming out to see us at the Soho Theatre in London. We're your hosts, Jake and Amir.
And for those of you who don't know, I don't want to say we're best friends.
Because we're not.
That joke always did well.
Yeah. Because that was the character.
Was a staple.
I don't want to say we're best friends because we're not.
Yeah, because we're more than that. We're like, what's above soulmates? We're inside each other.
So already, yeah. And then I say, poor choice of words.
Relax. It's not like they can understand us.
What are you talking about?
We're in a foreign country, Dillweed. It's called a language carrier.
It's called a language barrier, and it's not one. We're in England where they speak English.
So everyone can understand what I'm saying, even if it's to their face?
Especially if it's to their face.
So when the lady at the front desk told me our room wasn't ready and asked me to sit in the lobby.
And you said, I'll sit in the lobby if you sit on my face? Yeah, she understood that.
But she said, excuse me, like she couldn't understand me.
She couldn't understand how one human being was talking like to another like that. By the way, you also went like this, which anybody could understand if they didn't speak your language. I guess what I'm saying, you went like this. I'm like doing some kind of like miming, putting a vagina in your mouth or something.
Yeah. I mean, so far this is funny, even if you don't know who we are, I think.
Maybe it was just that he felt like he was on the outside because he wasn't laughing. He's like, this is obviously just for their hardcore fans, but in reality, it was for any Joe Schmo to walk in, coming from White Hart Lane down to Soho. Why not?
And then I said, relax, Dad. Sorry, Mom.
And then gear shift. Hey, we are happy to be here. We love London. We actually had an awesome time exploring your city today.
And I said, we went to this motherfucker streaked Trafalgar Square.
And then, oh, wow, this is also from the old CH Live. Yeah. And I say, well, you did get completely naked, but you didn't streak anything. This is just us recounting a crazy thing you did, I guess.
Yeah. I stopped for a few seconds to ask for directions.
You walked completely nude into a pret-a-manger and ordered a dozen bagels.
I was carbo loading for the streak. It's a very long square.
Well, you were fully erect.
Bagel holder.
That also
which
always
I
did
still
well.
say is really a solid punchline. It's very visual, Brian.
Look at for this one. I actually didn't think. I don't like reading this one back. I'm like, this isn't that funny to me. But you talking about your erect penis being a bagel holder did always do pretty well.
Also, the idea of someone going streaking and stopping for directions is funny.
Yeah. Then you say, "Are you done?"
Yeah, are you done shaming me? I know, I'm very tired. It's not easy flying from America to Europe.
No, I'm not done shaming you because you don't travel very well.
Bullshit, I'm a frequent flyer.
I remember this was really hard because I had this really long story to remember, which I just get to read now. That's what you told the stewardess? You said, I'm a platinum member. I swear to COD. Wow, COD sounds. I swear to COD, you fishy bitch. I've logged 1 million miles and I deserve a seat upgrade. When she refused, you said you don't offer first class flights to men in uniform. You pulled off your pants, revealing no uniform at all, just your genitals. You then said, ever heard of a Purple Heart? Well, this is a hurtful shart. You bent down and with all your might mustered up nothing. Then when they closed the cabin doors, you shrieked, holy shit, this thing goes in the air. You started running around like a scared rat, trying to burrow your way into the cockpit. You said, I'm the only guy in the world I trust to fly this bus. Finally, an air marshal came over to subdue you, but when he tased you, it somehow only made you stronger. You held it against your own body, screaming and electrocuting yourself. You then said, who wants to become a member of the Mile High Pub? You pulled out your flaccid penis, stuck the tip in a beer bottle before shrieking, room for one whore. Then you fainted in the aisle. A doctor on board pronounced you dead and the whole plane cheered. People made arrangements to have your body publicly shamed in Iceland during our layover and return to the States. But just as we landed, you shot awake and did a terrible Borat impression.
My wife.
And yes, now I'm done shaming you.
That story also did really well because it's like both impressive that you said it all the way through, hopefully without messing up.
Yeah.
And then it ends on a Borat joke, which people seem to like.
Yeah, I have like such a vivid memory now of like all of the benchmarks, and I would like kind of lock in where I was in the story after I like, hurtful shark. I mustered up nothing. I'm like, okay, that's a quarter of the way.
Also, I think we repurposed parts of this stuff for a video once, remember? Like I tried to pop a squad on a cop car and couldn't shit or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
And then it goes into a scroll. Top 10 ways to enjoy British holiday even though your best mate is being a bit of rubbish.
Man.
People like the scrolls.
Yeah.
That was another absolute hit that the guy was very confused about. He called it a poem, which makes sense.
It's a scroll or a list. Well, we call it out in the show what it is.
Yes. Should we read this whole thing?
Yeah, we can go through the scroll real quick.
Okay, this is top 10 ways to enjoy a British holiday even though your mate is being a bit of rubbish. Number 10. Check out Big Ben, right by the River Thames. The numbers and rods both confused and excite. I'm stupefied and miffed, but filled with delight. What do they mean, murmurs the neighborhood. The seventh wonder of the world. Yeah, it's that good.
It's a clock, not a mystery.
Number 9, time to dine.
I'm sorry, did you say clocks confuse you? That a regular analog clock is a mystery to you?
Time to dine. Sample the local cuisine, if you know what I mean. 20-piece chicken nugget. Now that's a meal fit for a queen.
Oh, yeah. Logan did not like this part, the nuggets. Why do you think McDonald's is local cuisine?
Ever heard of bangers and mash? Well, I'm a stranger with cash.
You said nuggets.
Number 8. London is great. Queue up at a McDonald's and have a full English breakfast. That's chicken nuggets. Sounds quite boss. Hold the chicken, I'll just take the skin and the sauce. That's the Aussie philosophy, and I'm down under.
We're in London, not Australia.
If you're just going to nitpick the list, I'll stop reading it.
Great.
Number 7. This city is heaven. With so many sights and sounds to see, I think I'll start with a DVD. Say Terminator 3 with Mini-Me.
Terminator 3 doesn't star Vern Troyer, and if you're watching a movie, you're not really seeing any of the sights, are you?
Number 6. I'm gramming some pics. We've had so many people in these places. I've got to throw an Instagram filter on these faces. Now, give me a tap and double tap.
I think we meant to say, give me a dap and double tap.
Oh, yeah.
Give me a dap so you can
double
like
tap.
It. Yeah. I'm not going to double tap. It's a picture of your shit. So I guess you show me your phone.
Which I took at a fancy restaurant. It was a gastropub, and I'm an asshole schlub. Hashtag foodie, nah, hashtag duty.
Imagine Logan leaving now, but he's stuck it out.
He's just in the middle of a long row, so he feels bad leaving.
Can you please delete that? It looks like you have 90 negative comments begging you to take it down.
Number 5, go to a dive. The pubs in this town can't be beat. There's one with golden arches just down the street.
Again, you're talking about a McDonald's.
Number 4.
Oh, how is it that you keep reading? You won't change anything? So I guess maybe I rip up the list at some point?
Oh, interesting, yeah. Number 4, England's a bore. Why haven't I done anything in this town but eat American fast food and watch shitty movies in my hotel room? I could have done that at home.
That's the first honest thing you've said on the list. England's not a bore. You're just an asshole.
Number 3, you're the asshole to me.
How did you know I was going to say that? Did you write that on the list? Holy shit, you did. You wrote it down. Oh, I grabbed the list, so I'm looking at it as you're reading it.
Got it. Magical realism. Number 2, it's me and you. We're in a foreign country for crying out loud with our whole damn crew. We got Streeter and me and you and our friends. Let's just enjoy it because we might not have this opportunity again. Life is handing us 2 choices, yes or no. What's your preference? I chose the road less traveled, and that has made all the difference.
Damn, that was amazing. Yeah, dude, let's do this. Let's run this town together.
Number 1, matching tattoos. Done and done. It's the London eye on this guy's brown eye.
You want me to tattoo a Ferris wheel on my asshole?
You already said yes. You already agreed. Next up on our date, how about we partake in some weed? Some wacky backy for this tacky Jackie.
So you're changing your name to Jackie.
We both are. Matching tattoos for these dashing fat Jews make the ladies...
Yeah.
Brian Logan, I'm sorry. Matching tattoos for these dashing fat Jews make the ladies snatch drip juice. Oh, and our names match too. We're the tacky We're the tacky Jackie sisters.
The tacky Jackie sisters. Okay. Stop it. Enough. Your rhymes are offensive, crass, immature, lewd, rude.
Thanks, my dude.
And then this goes into a freestyle, which we'll save that for another day, okay?
There's only so much blue humor we can cram into one podcast.
Yeah, I mean, my good God. My absolute God.
And your family would sometimes come to these shows, and I would do this kind of stuff.
For sure. They've seen it all.
Were you ever embarrassed about that?
No, I mean, like I wasn't embarrassed about it. They've seen it all. They support me. I was able to compartmentalize what happened on stage and who I was off stage.
Right. It would be sad if it was like that, but like 4 people in the audience and your family was half of that.
It was always, you could always hide, or, you sheltered yourself from any criticism by the fact that it was going well. Like my parents would, much like Brian Logan, they wouldn't necessarily like this on their own, but unlike Brian Logan, they were able to see the reaction and be proud of me.
Yeah, especially because, like your parents said, 3 years before this, you were failing out of school and they didn't know what to do. Exactly. So this was a
net win. We should mention, by the way, Logan is my uncle. So I shouldn't say my family always supports me.
Logan Brian Hurwitz II. To boil salmon crimp, take out the blood and wash it well. Lay it on a fish plate. And put your... These recipes sound like one of the scrolls we would read.
That's true.
Garnish it with scraped horseradish and fennel.
I think we did something like this in Lonely and Horny season 2, right? Where like Billy is your personal trainer and he asks you what you eat. And you and I had just like ripped everything from 1800s menu. And you're like, mutton has?
Yes, and mutton has was a typo that we left in because we thought it was funny. It was originally mutton hash, like corned beef hash, but the way it was like autocorrected to mutton has. So it sounds like the beginning of a sentence. What did you eat for breakfast today? A pot of boiled coffee and some mutton has. Mutton has?
Mutton has.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I feel like Brian Logan would fucking love some of this shit.
Some of it. He might like some of it. I mean, if he liked the flamenco clown,
which he didn't.
We also make that joke a lot. Oh, if you like that list, I hated it. Well, you're gonna love this.
Right, exactly. It's like barely listening to you.
Yes.
Ryan Logan.
Man, this also reminded me that from the scroll, we're here in London with all of our friends. Do you remember we went with Streeter, and then he brought his, he brought Vanessa, who was his girlfriend at the time, who now he's married to, and then you brought a girlfriend. Kunal came, Carnell and Sarah Schneider came. We all went over, even though only 3 of us were involved in the show, and we just like went to London for a week. It was great.
We turned it into a fun group trip.
Yeah, we partied every night.
No notes.
Unlike Brian.
I'm not going to apologize for shit.
For saying shit. For saying all of the duty. Yeah.
Some of this stuff.
The snatch drip juice is pretty offensive.
Yeah,
for sure.
I didn't eat that. Yeah, it didn't really elevate the comedy.
I don't think so.
Sort of felt like a crutch at the time.
Yeah.
To be sure. All right. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Of course, we're all recording these video, audio-wise. You can listen and watch them on YouTube or just continue listening wherever the hell you listen to your podcasts.
Either way.
But we're also watching/writing Jake and Amir episodes on our Patreon. If you go to patreon.com/JA, you can watch hundreds of Jake and Amir watch Jake and Amir at this point.
Yeah, maybe we should write a long story one like the flight attendant, because that was a lot of fun to read.
That's good, yeah. Those ones, much like the scrolls, are almost more fun to write than to read.
Yeah, it's true.
And we'll be back, of course, next week. Any segment ideas we should have, leave them as a comment below. Suggest them, and we'll check them out.
Yes.
We're always in need of more fun segment ideas.
Exactly.
But for now, we'll see you next week. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
That was a Headgum original.